Hello, everybody. There is a lot of talking that we have to do, so expect this week to be a little bit ranty. There are nicer videos incoming after the fact and like the week after and the week after that, but for now we're gonna rant, and the fact that our current update is very sparse just kind of makes me extra on edge and extra ranty, so, just saying the next week is gonna be fairly negative. So, our precious Flutter Storm, which is a banner outfit all the way from 1.0, got butchered, and I can't shake the feeling that it has been somewhat on purpose. There's something about this whole situation that just shows that this kind of lack of detail and lack of care provided for this outfit wasn't accidental. So let's start all the way from the foreshadowing, which is quite funny to say now, which is people were quite disappointed with Timeless Melody Rerun and Timeless Melody Final Evolution. It's effectively like Info took a pair of scissors and just took it to a dress and cut off a nice part of it and just called it a day. So it kind of shows the whole disregard towards models of clothes that didn't come out with alternative evolutions already in mind. They kind of just seem to want to get it over with. But as Timeless Melody has been rerunning, they did put in quite a lot of effort into it. Like, it has a crystalline sound now. There's an extra bit of it, like the key that becomes smaller. There has been the whole drama to do with the fact that it didn't have any ruffles at the top, and then they pulled the whole top upwards, and now it kind of clips with its own necklace. So it's obvious that they cared enough to like put a lot of attention into this outfit. I would say that the first alarm bell that should have gone off is that Flutter Storm got their alternative evolution without there being a rerun for the outfit. Of course, you could say that Flutter Storm and the fairy outfit that came out in 1.0 has had their reruns before alternative evolutions became a thing, so they had a rerun already, like half a year after the game came out, and some people think that having two reruns would have been unfair, but when you're implementing alternative details to an outfit without a rerun, without expecting to get new money for it, there's already a big like ding 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 going off that you think that this banner will be unprofitable and that some other banners will be a lot more profitable, and therefore you don't need to put an effort into it. And of course, alternative evolutions kind of dropped just like that, and people that had the outfit were very unhappy with it. This was literally the worst possible choice Infold could have done as an alternative for this outfit. Why would they remove the parts of the outfit that made it stand out? The butterfly motif on the skirt was the best part. Now we have a blank, detail-less skirt that dies horribly, by the way, and we still can't see the shoes or socks under the dress. This is the only limited 5-star final evolution I have. I was really looking forward to the bog standard, the same dress but shorter. Alternate. I still can't believe it. But it makes sense, unfortunately, since this was the path of the least resistance design change. And the laziest choice. I wish I was a whale so Infold could take my suggestion in account, but even if I send in a suggestion, bug report or whatever, it probably won't change. Edit, I also forgot to mention they removed the sheer wings on the side too. Ugh. Also, I ended up sending a suggestion. Might send in a bug report about the dye situation also, but this whole situation is frustrating me, and rightfully so. Like, they took the very elegant part of the dress and they replaced it with what looked like to be a 3-star skirt. And it is not like this is the only path that they could have taken. This is one person's suggestion for what they could have done with the outfit. But really, considering that they just took a pair of scissors to Timeless Melody and went snip snip, they could have also just snipped right the bottom of the dress, making it not just like spread out on the floor, but be more of a just a straight cut that ends slightly above your shoe. They could have put a shoe window. They have done a shoe window for 1.4, and they have also done a shoe window for Behind Prayers from 2.0. So there are a lot of different ways that they could have respected this dress without doing what they did. Because compare the fabric that exists here on the dress versus the skirt that now exists on the... Do you see what I mean when I say that it looks like he tacked on a 3-star piece? Like, I literally have skirts like that in my wardrobe when I want to create simpler outfits. They're not very intricate, they're not very elegant, and they don't really fit on a banner dress. And the weird bit about it, let me pull back to the beginning and just showcase you a little bit of what this person is saying. Is it not weird that they have done this without making Flutter Storm rerun? It feels weird that they aren't allowing people the change to do this whatsoever. If you have it, you get it. If you didn't have it yet, Lord knows when the rerun will actually come around, considering their god-awful schedule. I was very much looking forward to rerun of both this and BD once again, once their alternative versions were introduced. But now it seems that that simply isn't happening, because they'll just add the content to the game whenever they feel like it, and they'll only get it if you already pulled for it. Retroactively adding a whole ass old form for outfits reveals that reruns really aren't necessary for them to add this kind of new content into the game also. Remember when we promised handholds from Whimsicality outfits as actual items? Remember that they then said that they would only add said items once the full outfits would rerun? Yeah, this is weird on both situations. One, they are adding extra features to an outfit without believing that they're gonna get profit from it, because they're not selling Flutter Storm right now. Secondly, is they're obviously not doing this for other bits. Like, there are a lot of backlog that they could have implemented, including handhelds for 4 stars, but they're holding off from doing that until the 4-star is rerunning. So there is something really up here. There is something really suspicious happening, which just makes me think that A, the other outfit that ran during 1.0 might be treated better, and that unfortunately permanent banners or free-to-play miracle outfits that came before the alternative form was a thing, namely Wishful of Rosa's Silvergale Aria and the Sea of Stars dress, they might either never see their own alternative forms, or they might get a butchered form like this. Why am I saying that? Flutter Storm was the only outfit ever, only 5-star limited banner that released with 9 pieces. The only place where we see that outside of Flutter Storm is the permanent banner. Permanent banner has a lot of outfits with 9 pieces. This means that your full pity to pull Flutter Storm was hold 20 pulls slower than any other limited outfit released afterwards. Which means that even if Flutter Storm was a great seller, Infold can make less money off it. Which is why I'm thinking that the other outfit from 1.0 might not be treated quite as cruelly. However, that items that are free or permanent banner might be treated just as cruelly, or even crueler, with not getting a final alternative evolution at all, because it's not something that Infold can extract a lot of money from. We do have a secondary issue, which I do believe I have a topic addressing that during community news, so like stay tuned for tomorrow, but also my memory is a little bit hazy, so I may or may not have this. Stardust Flare from 1.2 has not had their rerun yet. And it's an outlier that by the time that it gets a rerun, even if it got a rerun in 2.9, it would be whole 200 days longer than any other outfit took to rerun. Thereabouts. There is a person tracking it all with a spreadsheet. However, the fact that they're rerunning Enchanted Encounter and not Stardust Flare might also signal another little thing, which is Infold might be prioritizing the outfits that brought a lot of money for the rerun schedule, and they might be treating Flutter Storm like this because it can't give them a lot of money, and therefore it doesn't deserve a spot on the new rerun schedule. This would be my, call it a dark theory or a conspiracy theory about this game if you want. So they're just throwing in the towel, they're sneaking in an alternative form, which is alternative form. Like, it barely qualifies. They're effectively butchering the outfit. And if you have the outfit, you just get to live with it, while everyone else don't really get a chance to get the outfit because their internal profit margins are probably showing that this outfit didn't bring them the kind of profits that they want. And the fact that this outfit is 9 pieces out of 10, it really plays against it when it comes to the, capitalistic profit machine. We probably haven't gotten Stardust Flare for so long as well, because the other outfit on the two banners that ran during 1.2 was probably a lot more popular, and Stardust Flare just didn't attract the kind of profit margin that they had, that they wanted. Do I have anything to prove this with? No, but that would be my theory. There is quite a lot of posts asking Infold to give this outfit some proper love. Not to add to the negativity about Flutter Storm's alternative details, but I'm just really disappointed in how the alternative dress looks. I fell in love with Flutter Storm since the game launched, and it currently is the only evolution I have, so when it announced that they were doing alternative forms of the final evolutions, I was hoping that Flutter Storm would get something that would really wow people. Well, it did, but not in a positive way. The silhouette is very basic and boring, just straight up and down, and the bottom of the dress has barely no detail and has lost volume. Even some of the 3 and 4 star dresses look better than this alternative dress. I hope Infold will listen to the community feedback and make some changes, but we shall see. With the way that Infold is going, I would just not have a lot of hope that they would see the light here. I think if you wanted them to see the light here and change the version that they gave you, you would need a very, concerted community effort to constantly push that feedback for months on end. If this is just a blip in the timeline, then they're just gonna ignore your feedback and gonna move on, like what they did with a lot of feedback. It gets a lot to get anything through to them, and there is quite a lot of things that people want to get through to them at practically the same time, creating this real big maze of everything is wrong, but the company can just sort of ignore it because there isn't really a one specific concerted effort and concerted feedback where people would really threaten their bottom line by pushing it through. So this is just another thing that players grumble about and not the kind of thing that's really impacting the company negatively. I believe this is how they're getting away with a lot of things right now. And this is just, look at how full the dress looks without, like, the alternative details. And then they strip everything that's unique and they just leave this layer, which just looks sad, especially compared to, like, this top bit, where the layer looks like it was literally ripped off. This is Daughter of the Lake, colored in the colors of Flutter Storm, which looks better than the alternative evolution. So, you know, because it's sad. It is sad what they have done. And the Chinese players are also not too happy about it, as this person made a compilation of items that sort of look like Flutter Storm that you could use to dupe the outfit, that honestly just looks better than what they have done to Flutter Storm. That would be a permanent banner 5-star dress on the right. I don't even know what that is. I think it's a top and a bottom. But, like, it's something that's very easy to dupe. That is our previous 4-star, and look at how much more majestic it looks than the poor, butchered Flutter Storm. That is 5-star 2.2 deer top with a regular skirt. Still looks a lot more majestic than Flutter Storm. There you go. It's just, I think what this is honestly profit margins. And I think that the company will not care unless you make it care by really, really, really pushing this feedback. And I think that's why we're not getting a Flutter Storm rerun. But at the same time, this is why I think that the other 5-star from 1.0, the fairy one, won't get the same treatment, because it probably was more profitable, just the same way that they're delaying rerunning Stardust Flare while they reran the other 1.2 outfit that ran alongside the one with the little bear and the balloons, because that one was probably a lot more liked. Plus, when it comes to, I believe the other outfit was called Blossoming Dreams, correct me if I'm wrong, it's a 10-piece and Flutter Storm is a 9-piece, so I think they're being shit to her because she was set up to fail from the very get-go, because they just can't extract the kind of profits that they can extract for any 10-piece outfit, which is kind of why they tried to increase the pieces to 11 in 1.5, and it backfired so hard from the companies, from, like, community's feedback, that they had to, like, roll that back. But that doesn't mean that they're gonna be nice to 9-piece outfits. This is kind of why I'm not really afraid of Blossoming Dreams getting the same treatment, but I do believe that they're completely not incentivized to giving alternative evolution details at all for free-to-play outfits that haven't received it yet, or for permanent banner outfits, because a lot of them are also 9-pieces. So I think that what this shows is a lack of care for anything outside of maybe profits. And I think that what this is signaling is that we're either gonna get very half-assed alternative evolutions for the permanent banner 5 stars, or we're gonna get none at all, and that we're probably never seeing an alternative version of Silvergale Aria, Wishful Orosa, or the Sea of Stars dress. Like, I'm prepared to be impressed, but what this just really is signaling to me is that the company itself does not really have the care for the game. They have the care for the game as it's a profit machine. But if they can get away with letting their players down because this thing probably wasn't as profitable, then they're gonna do it. And I'm really unhappy about it. It's not like at the top of my priority list of the things that I'm unhappy about, because I am currently unhappy about a lot of things to do with this game. But it adds to the pile. And if this is the final evolution that you had, I do imagine that it's at the top of your pile. So, I'm sorry. This is coming from someone that has timeless melody alternative evolution, and ours got butchered for censorship's sakes. So, I'm very sorry that the company is treating you like that. That's all I can say. Hopefully, maybe we can get through to them by pushing concerted effort, but my second worry is that the community currently doesn't have in it to push for any concerted effort over any issue that we're seeing. The community right now is a bit placid. It's a bit eh. So, oftentimes now we're relying on Chinese players to push for these issues to get fixed, and that in itself doesn't really lie well with me. So, this is a problem. If you want to be a good person, at the very least, continuously put it in your surveys that this is a problem, though I have a feeling that it would require a bit more than that. The deer jump people left a lot of consistent, strongly worded messages everywhere where they could about the deer jump not working outside of the 2.2 area and it being a huge problem with the outfit, and it took them months. So if we just go on a survey and go, I don't like this one particular, they might just not listen. It might require actual concerted effort and pushing. And I don't think that the community has in it at the moment, so I'm sorry if my view is a bit pessimistic about that, but please, this is a problem. Let's, as a community, take it seriously and maybe slap ourselves awake a little bit, drink some water, maybe put our heads into a water bucket, and actually get serious about it with poking and prodding the company and quite severely stating that this kind of treatment of players that supported you during 1.0 to a point where they have the final evolution for this outfit, that treating your core supporters that supported your game right at the start, it's just, it shouldn't be allowed. It shouldn't be a thing. If you're a self-respecting company, you shouldn't do this. So yeah, that's all I have to say about it. Look forward to at least 2 more very strongly worded videos. Thank you for listening. Sorry if I'm being a bummer or shitting on your parade right now. Thank you so much for my Patreon supporters. And hopefully, I'm gonna see you in my other videos this week. Doodaloo!